We have seen the derivative of some standard functions and algebra of derivatives. Now let us see the derivative of composite functions. Composite function means function of a function or function of another function. For example, y equal to f of g of x. This is the function of function. On this topic, we have see a theorem. This is an important theorem for exam. The statement of a theorem is if y equal to f of u is a differentiable function of u. y हे u च differentiable function आहे and u equal to g of x is a differentiable function of x. u हे x च differentiable function आहे. Such that the composite function y equal to f of g of x is a differentiable function of x. And you can say composite function y equal to f of g of x is a differentiable function of x. x a differentiable function है. Then we have to prove that. then हे prove करायचे की dy by dx equal to dy by du into du by dx. Now we see the proof. Let delta y delta u be the small increments in y and u respectively. Corresponding increment delta x in x. आपण increments यामधल्या कन्सिडर केले बघा. 11th स्टँडर्ड मध्ये तुम्हाला डेरिव्हेटिव्ह फॉर अल्जेब्रा, ॲडिशन रूल, सबट्रॅक्शन रूल, कोशन आणि प्रोडक्ट रूल त्यामध्ये होते बघा. हे सेंटेन्स हे सेम असतात की जे आपल्याला y u चं डिफरन्शिएबल फंक्शन दिले म्हणजे y मध्ये इन्क्रिमेंट डेल्टा y कन्सिडर केली, u मध्ये इन्क्रिमेंट डेल्टा u कन्सिडर केली. त्यानंतर y इज डिफरन्शिएबल फंक्शन ऑफ x आहे म्हणून करस्पॉन्डिंग increment delta x in x. Then the first sentence is y equal to f of u is a differentiable function of u. So focus this. y is हे जर आपण consider केलं y is a differentiable function of u and u is a differentiable function of x. Since y is differentiable function of u and u is a differentiable function of x. That is याचा अर्थ काय? dy by dx dy by du is equal to limit delta u tends to 0 delta y by delta u. या सेंटेन्सचं मीनिंग y is a differentiable function of u. हे y डिफरेंशिएट होते with respect to u. So dy by du equal to limit delta u tends to 0 delta y by delta u. Then u is differentiable function of x means du by dx. du by dx is equal to limit delta x tends to 0 delta u by delta x. This is calling as equation first. आपल्याला याचा यूज करायचा आहे बघा. ओके. Then now dy by dx is equal to delta y by delta u into delta u by delta x. आपण एक कन्सिडर केलं. फिर this delta u delta x these are not equal to 0. Now taking limit as delta x tends to 0. Here we see delta y by delta x. We have considered this as delta y by delta x equal to delta y by delta u into delta u by delta x. असं कन्सिडर करायचं. डेल्टा u नॉट इक्वल टू 0, डेल्टा x नॉट इक्वल टू 0. Okay. Then taking limit as delta x tends to 0 both sides, we get limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x is equal to limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta u into delta u by delta x is equal to, then separate the limits. Limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta u into limit delta x tends to 0 delta u by delta x. Limit separate केल्यानंतर आपल्याला समजेल. Now look at the here delta y by delta u as delta x tends to 0. We see the first equation delta y by delta u as delta u tends to 0. Then we get dy by du. So as delta x tends to 0, this implies delta u tends to 0. Since of u is a continuous function of x, so we get limit delta x ऐवजी काय delta u tends to 0 delta y by delta u into limit delta x tends to 0 delta u by delta x, and the left hand side as limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x. Then by equation first, limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x is equal to, on right hand side by first this factor is dy by du into, now the second is du delta u by delta x as delta x tends to 0 is du by dx into du by dx. So this is the second. Now look at equation 2. Right hand side exists, so left hand side is also exist. Form 2 RHS exists and finite. So left hand side also exists and finite. We get limit delta x tends to 0 delta y by delta x is equal to dy by dx. So therefore this becomes dy by dx is equal to dy by du into du by dx. So this is प्रूव्ह झालं पहा. 3 or 4 मार्क्सला हा थेरम बोर्ड एक्झाम मध्ये विचारलेला असतो बघा. ओके, देन वी हैव सी द note on this topic. First note, if y equal to f of g of x, then dy by dx is equal to f dash g of x into g dash x, y equal to f of g of x. This is a differentiable function of x. आपल्याला डिफरन्शिएट करायचं असेल त्याचा dy by dx इक्वल टू f of g of x. f of g of x चा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह f dash g of x आणि हे g of x काय याचं हे कंपोजिट फंक्शन f of g of x is a composite function. So multiply g dash x here dy by dx equal to dy by du into du by dx. Then second note, dy by dx is equal to dy by du1 into du1 by du2 into du2 by du3. In this way du1 by dx. So dy by dx equal to here dy by du1 means y is a differentiable function of u1. Then u1 du1 by du2 means u1 is differentiable function of u2, and in this way u1 is a differentiable function of x. So du1 by dx हे बघा कॅन्सल केलं du1 du2 हे सगळं कॅन्सल होऊन याच्याबरोबर ही टर्म कॅन्सल होणार dy by dx. So this is called as a chain rule. This is called as a chain rule. यालाच डेरिव्हेटिव्हचा चेन रूल असं म्हणतात. डेरिव्हेटिव्ह ऑफ कंपोजिट फंक्शन, दिस इज अ चेन रूल. नाउ वी सी द एक्झाम्पल. Exercise 1.1 मध्ये examples मधला question first is differentiate the following functions with respect to x. Differentiate the following functions with respect to x. So first y equal to cos of x square plus a square. This is a composite function. इथे आपल्याला सिंपल फंक्शन आलेलं नाही. सपोज आपल्याला y equal to cos x असं जर असेल तर हे सिंपल फंक्शन झाले. तर cos of x square plus a square function of a another function म्हणजे कंपोजिट फंक्शन आहे आणि मला त्याचा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घ्यायचा असेल तर आपल्याला चेन रूलच्या फॉर्म्युलाने याचा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घ्यायचा. दिस इज अ गिवन फंक्शन. नाउ डिफरन्शिएट with respect to x. So dy by dx is equal to, now this first note y equal to f of g of x असेल तर dy by dx equal to f dash g of x as it is ठेवायचा. the function of x आहे त्याचा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह घ्यायचा. cos of derivative of cos is minus sin of this function as it is minus sin of x square plus a square into dy by dx of x square plus a square. जे आपण कन्सिडर केला जर x म्हटलं जर याला तर या ठिकाणी बघा g dash x त्याचा डेरिव्हेटिव्ह x square plus a square च्या बरोबर जर कंपेअर केलं तर dy by dx of x square plus a square is equal to minus sin of x square plus a square into derivative of this x square, derivative of x square is twice x plus a square, derivative of a square is a constant, derivative of constant function is 0, so derivative of a square is 0, so that equal to, we simplify this, minus 2x into 2x plus minus 2x sin of x square plus a square, so dy by dx is equal to minus twice